Hey, what's going on? Ironman Tulsa wannabe athletes, wannabe finishers. Ryan Walker right here, set the pace triathlon.com, and I am here to talk to you about Ironman Tulsa on the run. So if you go to the Ironman Tulsa course, hit courses, hit the run, this is what pops up. So you hit the PDF and you conveniently go down to the bottom after it loads, and you can see the elevation gain. I want to say this course is going to be nice and flat, which I think we're all going to appreciate after the 4,800 feet-ish or so of climbing on the bike. I think that first 70 miles on the bike is going to be a true test of where you're at as far as bike fitness. And then seeing how much you can keep to be able to go out and do well on a run course. Just because it's flat doesn't mean you can go out and smash it. So I think the key is you're running north and south, you're running along the river trails. And later I've got a video that someone else has done taking along the river trails. And I've been down in Tulsa, I've been down there for work a few times, and I've used trails often for running. And I can tell you this, there's going to be sections where you're exposed to the wind, and then there's going to be sections where you're covered by the trees, you got shade. So it is in the end of May, and it's a grab bag in Tulsa as far as the weather goes at the end of May. It can be hot and humid and just nasty, or it could be a perfect day, 50% humidity in the 60s and 70s, or it could be storming. 2 years ago, I believe at the end of May, they had some tornadoes roll through and some severe weather. So it's going to be a grab bag. So as you get closer to race day, make sure you're checking the weather and just staying up to date on how it's going to be. But we're going to assume that maybe it's on the hotter side, so make sure while you're doing your training you're getting heat adapted, because it is going to be humid. I'm pretty much going to guarantee it's going to be humid, so you're going to be sweating a lot, so you need to be in a position to where you're efficient in your sweating and you're efficient on making sure that you're hydrated. So that's going to be the key on the bike, is to make sure when you come off that bike you're 2 to 3% dehydrated, which means keeping up on your fluids, which means in your training you need to keep track of your fluid loss, so weigh yourself before and after. I've got spreadsheets if you want them, let me know, to track for every workout. But in order to get the proper hydration levels, you need to make sure that you're training in conditions that are conducive to what's going to be like on a race day. Here in Kansas City, we just came off of, at the end of May, it was negative 15. So I'm running in my basement, and, it was like 60 degrees down there. So for me, it's perfect conditions to do a run, but you're not going to sweat. I'm not sweating nearly as much as I would if we're in normal conditions. So if you got like an electric heater you can plug in and blow on you to make it a little bit warmer, maybe wear a little extra clothing, just kind of warm up and get used to the sweating on the run, because I think that's going to be one of the keys, is you're going to sweat a lot on this run. And if you are not paying attention to your hydration strategy and your electrolytes and your sodium and stuff like that, you get to this, because if you look, it is a 2-loop course. I think by the time you get that second loop, you start running back down, I think you're going to hit the wall. So if you're not keeping up with hydration, electrolytes, and everything else, it's going to be tough. Because I think it's going to I'm going to venture on the little warmer side. It's going to be humid. We sweat a lot. So basically when you hit the wall, there's going to be no coming back unless you start walking, and then you take in your hydration and your nutrients and stuff at every aid station. And then you might be able to have a rally, but it's going to draw the whole thing out. I've been there. It sucks. It's no fun. Because this course, like I said, when you look at it, 600 feet of gain, which most of it comes at the end. When you're running on this trail, people bike here, people work out there. It's very nice and well maintained, and it's a nice little course. There's a few little sections, but it's nothing killer. There's going to be no huge climbs or anything like that. You're not going to be doing anything monster out there, except when you come back towards the finish line. That's the only real steep section you got. There's just a few, I guess I would call them rollers, just going through, and some little ups and little downs, but it's a public use trail system, so it's nothing severe, because they got people rollerblading, they got people biking, running. So that might be one issue, is I'd imagine, it's not closed per se. It's on the trail system, so you're not on the road, but you watch out for other people. People like to come out, they like to work out there, especially during the weekends. The weather's nice. There could be rollerbladers out there. It could be actually kind of congested, especially since we're going back and forth. It's a wide trail, but I think there's going to be times when you might be dealing with just other random people out there working out that you're going to have to watch out for. So make sure you're watching for that. Like I said, there's some open sections, but the most most of it you're going to have trees and stuff and shade. Do keep up on the sunscreen, but I don't think it's going to be as critical. I always wear a visor when I'm on the run to keep the kind of sun on my eyes, but I don't. In the middle of the day, I don't think there's going to be too much problem with the sun in your face. That sun's not going to be beating down on you. There's always going to be a section to where there's going to be wide open sections, but it's only going to be maybe 100 yards at most. And then you're back under a bridge, you're back in the trees or something like that. So this trail system, I think, is going to be, if you've done the bike ride, if you've not spent all your energy in that first 70 miles and you pace yourself out and you come off that bike in a good position, have a good solid transition, make sure you're hydrated, make sure your nutritions are up, and you continue to do that, this should set you up for a nice little run. It's nice. There's plenty of sections where people can park. Your spectators can come over and watch you run on the course, especially since it's an out and back. Especially, if somebody wants to come here a little bit early on the course or at the end near the U-turn, and you can cheer your people on 4 different times, and then they're going to have plenty of time to hop in their car and drive up to the finish line to see you finish. I think there's this course, I think, is pretty well set up for spectators, because, like I said, it's a trail system on the other side of the street, and as you go along here, there's other places that people can park. There's restaurants, there's other stores and shops and everything that they can go to. They get lunch, they can hang out and wait for you and whatever. So I think there's going to be good opportunity for spectators. And like I said, the only real challenge, you come out of transition and it's all downhill except for a little spike, and then you just got these rolling hills and you come back into the finish line. There's one last little climb before you come in and finish. As far as run courses go, I think this is going to be pretty straightforward. It's not super technical. It's 2 loops. It's an out and back down a trail system. You're not on the roads. You're not dealing with traffic. You're going to deal probably, like I said, with people. There's parks, there's playgrounds, so you're going to be dealing with people and families. You might be dealing with rollerbladers, runners, bikers. It is a biking trail system, so you might have to just keep your head up and just make sure that when you're running, you're keeping clear of any bikes or pedestrians or rollerbladers or anything like that. I think that's going to be crucial. But other than that, this is a pretty straightforward course. Like I said, I think the main thing is come off the bike, not spent, 2 to 3% dehydrated at most, and then you've got your nutrition dialed in on the bike, and you're able to do the run. It's shaded, so I don't think, wear some sunscreen and bring it. I usually take sunglasses, but I don't think for this I need sunglasses, because I've run this during the day, I've run it in the evenings. I've never had a problem with the sun just beating down on me and wiping me out or anything like that. So personally, I'll just wear a visor and probably no sunglasses because I don't like to mess with them. And if we can check to see if we can find where the special needs might be, I don't see the special needs marked. So usually it's going to be around an aid station and usually the halfway point. So I'm going to guess that it's going to be maybe around this U-turn section. So you're probably going to pass by it twice. So you're going to have to make a calculated decision. Do you want to hit it on the first loop or the second loop? So if it's got stuff that you need to make through the race, I'd hit it in the first loop. Anything you don't take gets thrown away. If you don't visit it at all, it gets thrown away. So you get nothing back at the end of the race. So make sure you either use it or okay with it being thrown away. If you've got stuff in there that's special to you, for hydration, you mix it on the course or whatever, I'd hit it first. Otherwise, if you like, I like to live off the course, Gatorade Endurance, whatever they got, and then the gels, and then other, snack bars, wherever they got. Special needs, I might put in like, Pop-Tarts or something, or peanut butter and jelly sandwich, something that sounds good normally, because towards that point in the race, I'm not really, I'm hungry, but I don't want to eat, if that makes sense to you. It's just, the hunger thing is just not there, because by that time, your stomach just doesn't want to play nice. It's probably tired of goose, it's probably tired of sports drink. That's the point I'm usually looking at Red Bull and stuff like that. And I've got them on the course. So just make sure you plan out, when the athlete guy comes out, make sure that you go and check out where the special needs is to plan if you're going to the first or the second loop. But overall, this is not a super technical course. There's no places where you really have to, plan where you're going to spend your energy. It is no Ironman Chattanooga with pretty good climbs. It's pretty flat. You come to the end, one little climb to get to the finish line. And I think by the time you get to that point, you're going to be so jazzed up that you would run through a wall to get to that finish line. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. So But do notice the transition is a little bit, separate from the finish line area. So you come to the transition and you're going to run by the finish area, and then you're going to do your loops, and this is where you do your U-turn. So don't finish that first loop and start running back to the finish line. Make sure you do that U-turn to hit your second loop, and then come back into the finish line. And don't miss your turn. Make sure you hit the finish line. So overall, like I said, I'm not going to bring sunglasses for the run. I'm going to bring them just to have them in case, and I'll put them in my transition bag. But ultimately, I don't think the sun's going to be a factor on this course. Now, when you're running through downtown and stuff, you might not have as much coverage as far as sun goes, but I usually sunscreen up just to make sure that I don't burn, because you don't want to deal with burning, and then 26.2 miles running. Notice I got aid stations early and often, and they're going to have them on both sides of the walkway there, or the path, so you can hit them going out and coming back. Especially with the pandemic protocols, there'll probably just be people there just making sure the aid stations are stocked, and you kind of have to help yourself. So yeah, you can be self-supported, but you probably won't need like a running pack for water or hydration or anything. They're going to have plenty on the course. They're not going to let you pass out there. It could be a wild card. It could be 90 degrees and 90% humidity. So just be prepared. It could be hot out there, or it could be stormy, or it could be super windy. Now, when it is windy, it's kind of weird, because north and south, the wind kind of flows down the river and then kind of comes and hits you when you're running on the course. So when you're heading north, you might face a little bit of a headwind. So that'd be the other side, is if it's super windy that day, it could be a little bit of a struggle when you're coming back up north. Usually when I was going south, when I was out there and I do my workouts, going south, you can have a nice tailwind, and coming back is when you have to deal with the headwind. So just be prepared for that. But overall, I think this is a pretty nice way to wrap up this race after the 4,800 feet of climbing on the bike. I think the bike is going to be tough. It's where the race is going to be made. And you come out here and you just pace yourself. Don't come out hot and heavy. You got 26.2 miles. When you're coming back in and you feel like you have something left to give, that's a point where you can give it. But don't come out hot and heavy in the first 13 miles just because it's flat. And think, I'm going to kill this course, I'm going to crush it, because your gut comes up and the system starts shutting down and it says otherwise. So make sure you pace yourself. Don't get fooled in thinking that first 13 miles is like, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake, because it is 26.2 miles, and it's after a 112 mile bike ride and a 2.4 mile swim. It will tax you, and it will break you down if you don't respect the distance and respect the race. So overall, that's kind of my take on the Ironman Tulsa run course. Like I said, I've spent several times running up and down this river trail doing workouts of my own while I was down there for work. I've ridden my bike on it. I've run on it. It's, like I said, back in the days when I was there, probably like 2008, 2007, the trail's in pretty good condition. I think they've redone them a few times. They've had some washouts and stuff. They've had to repair some of the trail systems, but I think they keep them in pretty good shape. Like I said, there might be issues with spectators on the course, or not spectators, but other people just using the trails for exercise and stuff. So it could be a little crowded. So just be ready for that, and don't get too bent out of shape. Just go in with a nice calm mind that you might have to dodge a few people here and there, but at the end, it's not a big deal. If you have to slow down a little bit, that could actually be a good thing for you, especially at the beginning of the run. But other than that, that is my overall take on the run course. I'm looking forward to doing this run. I'm signed up. I'm ready to do the race. If you got any other questions, you can email me at info@setthepacetriathlon.com. You can comment on this video. You can go to my website, setthepacetriathlon.com. Leave me comments, whatever you got. Hopefully this helped you out. If you got other questions, I'd love to help you out too. And with that, happy training out there, and we will see you guys out on race day.